We coming out here, we live again. You know what I'm saying? I had to come back to the feed. People wanted me to tell ghost stories and stuff like that. I was like, I don't know about all that, but therapy, emotional support dog. Well, we basically be on like supporting your dogs, and right now we doing a late night live, just a late night demonstration to see how y'all be reacting to it, to see if y'all like it. Just tell me what y'all really think about it. Cause we on here, therapy, emotional support dog. Um, so that's what we really on. Um, I hope y'all out there feeding y'all dogs, taking care of y'all dogs. I'm trying to find out y'all breeding programs, trying to see what y'all really on. I'm speaking to everybody out there. I hope y'all enjoying yourself tonight. Late night, probably can't sleep. So we here. Therapy, emotional support dog up. Just want to roundabout, trying to see what y'all talking about. Do y'all what y'all got going on? Is it anything out there? Yeah, we have plenty of dogs. Don't be scared to say hello. Don't be scared to speak. If y'all have any questions, you know what I'm saying. I'll tell you a little bit about it. Um, it's people out there asking me all type of questions. I get all type of phone calls about dogs, how to help dogs, and really, I'm just good at answering questions when it present itself. We've been breeding dogs for a long time. We've been studying dogs since the early '90s. Um, we researched every bulldog that actually was, and we actually researched where these bulldogs came from, so you can get at us on any type of bulldog looking type of dog, from pit bull to English bulldog. We have always been really really aware of these dogs. You know what I'm saying? Hey, how you doing, bro? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and if y'all got some dog channels, make sure y'all go ahead and relinquish those. If you got any channel that you doing anything on, I will be going to check it out. Speaking up on it. So while you on my line, be mindful of these things. And we just a family of people that's actually up tonight, enjoying ourselves, talking about dogs, living the best life that we can live with our pets. I just got through feeding my dogs. I have different feeds for different dogs at particular times in their life. Everybody can't just eat anything, especially when they're in that puppy stage, when they're in their growing stage. I kind of stick to the basics. When they get older, I kind of switch them over to a better diet. Um, I started really, really making their food because I want the best for my dog. Hey, how y'all doing out there? You know what I'm saying? Between me and you. Hold on, man. See, you love dogs, and what dogs do you have? First of all, what dogs do you have? You know what I'm saying, broski or bros? Cause I like that instant bros. You feel me? Frenchies. Oh, I remember the Frenchies being bred back in the day, and how they used to use the Frenchies to breed to the the English bulldogs, and basically how they separated the lines. Um, the Frenchie and the Bulldog was technically once the same line, from my understanding. And what had happened was they was using the smaller Bulldogs, which would be the Frenchies, or before the Frenchies became the Frenchies, to breed to the larger female Bulldog. And that's how they started that off, and so they can have their puppies. Cause nobody was doing C-sections back then, so you gotta be mindful of that thing. Frenchies are a good breed, you know what I mean. Uh, Another dude, he was telling me about how them dogs came down and descended from Pug, and how Pug descended from the Tibetan master. and the pug was like terrier type dogs mixed with Tibetan Master amongst some more stuff. And what they done was they just kept putting these mixes together until they got their dog, basically. And the Frenchie just descend from them type of dog. You still can see bulldogs every once in a while with their ears standing up with that old trait, and you'll see it come out. Now I like Frenchies. Like, what colors you got? You got the traditional Frenchie, you got the fluffy, you got the traditional Frenchie. It comes in the traditional color like a show Frenchie. And then you have the dogs that are Frenchie, but they're not. You can't really show them because they're not what the standards say the Frenchie is. So you got the Frenchies, and then you got what the standards say. This is a Frenchie. So basically, what it is, you will make a dog, and you will say your dog's supposed to be this, come like this, and this. Any dogs basically outside their standard wouldn't be technically a Frenchie, even if it came out of two Frenchies, because the standards calls for that not to be a Frenchie. So when you go on by the standards of a dog, I'm not saying that your dog, let's say the standards say that the weight can only be 45 pounds, and you have a puppy that's um 70 pounds. Your dog end up being 70 pounds when they get grown. It's outside the standards. But even though it came from that dog, sometimes the standards be like, this is the best for it to work at. This is the best standard of it to make it work the best. So that's how your dog can be bigger. But back in the day, they wouldn't breed those dogs because if you breed those dogs that land outside the standard, you would throw more dogs that come outside the standard, which you'll mess up your standard. You'll mess up what you said to be true. If you paint all your cars green, then you paint them green. And then I come to your house, you got a car you painted pink, but you saying you paint. It's basically like you lying. So that's what a standard is. A standard is there just to keep a dog specifically what it is. Like, if they say it's supposed to have this many teeth or whatever they saying their feet supposed to be like this, his back supposed to be like this. A standard is just there to protect the dog, to keep people from making the dog go extinct. So basically, how is that? Just like they had to remake the English Master because it wasn't it was the blood they had, it wasn't no more. Basically, it wasn't enough blood to make a full-blooded dog, so they had to use dogs that had the English Mastiff in them, and that's how you got to it. So with them using dogs like Saint Bernard and amongst other dogs to come recreate this English Mastiff. So it's not the original full-blooded English Mastiff. It's basically a dog that resembles the English Mastiff the most. And yes, it do have English Mastiff blood in it because the dogs that they used to recreate it had English Mastiff in them, but it doesn't make it full-blooded English Mastiff. But it is the English Mastiff of today. Well, it's a lot of breeds out there like that. It's a lot of breeds out there that is. Oh snap! What is it? You used to call me on my cell phone late night when you need. I don't know that snap. You feel me? I really don't know that snap, but you wild for that. You wild for that. On everything, you wild for that. But I had you. So yeah, back to people recreating these dogs. Oh, you think that's real funny? I can't believe you think that's funny. But back to people recreating these dogs. It's a lot of bloods out there, dogs that have been recreated. So you really don't know what you getting until you do the research on these dogs. A lot of these dogs come from the oldest dogs, like Tibetan Mastiffs. Uh, that terrier blood kind of weird because the first thing I ever heard called terrier was a fox, and then they came out with the fox terrier. But I haven't did a lot of research on that. If anybody know anything about the fox terrier, could you point somebody my way? In the Frenchies, do y'all have to? Do y'all be having to do C sessions on the Frenchies? And if so, why are y'all not breeding the smaller male Frenchie to the bigger female Frenchie like they used to do the bulldogs to make sure they can have the puppies? Now, me and my friend was having a debate. Are full-blooded dogs smarter than mongrels or mixed breds or mutts? Are full-blooded dogs smarter than mongrels, mixed breds, or mutt? Now, what he said that he noticed that his full-blooded dogs held more intelligence. Me, I say the full-blooded dog was bred for a job, so it had more to that job. But I'm not absolutely sure. If anybody can comment on that, I would be happy to hear from y'all. You know what I'm saying? Do y'all think a full-blooded dog is have more intelligence than the mixed breed? Because most great dogs was mixed breeds. Like you can always get you a Suna, you know what I mean, or as they call it, a biscuit eater. You can always get you a Suna or a Sama. What that means, Suna is some of this, some of that, but we just call them Suma. You can always get you a great Suna, a great mixed breed dog, and have like the most intelligent dog in the world. If I'm mixing dogs, like the dog I like to mix with, which I wouldn't put in my blood because that's not consistent of what I'm trying to do. But if I was mixing a dog just for intelligence, I'm running Blue Hiller. And not a high percent of Blue Hiller. Like I'm running like 12% Blue Hiller. I'm running like something a low ball Blue Hiller. And it's just about they like at 12%. Can you still consider that a blue healer? Yes, it's still well not like a blue healer, but yes, it still got that blue healer blood in it at 12%. I don't care if it's uh what is it 88% pit bull and then 12% you if you don't even gotta see that blue healer in it, it's still there. Once you cross a dog with another dog, you have forever made that dog and all the puppies it produce mixed breeds. And it's puppies. Because you can't stop the dogs that are in there from coming out. And you can't call it a Rottweiler when you put Lab 3 generations ago. And even though they look like Rottweilers, act like Rottweilers, sooner or later, once them two Lab genes come together, you gonna get you a Lab. A dog that lean more towards lab, not a lab. You won't get you will never get a full blooded lab out of mixing these dogs, and you will never get a full blooded Rottweiler, not in blood, but you will get it in phenotype. So phenotype is like what's on the outside of a dog. So the dog will look all the way like a Rottweiler, but in his genotype, it still remains some lab. So you know we take care of our dogs. We feed our dogs real good. Um, y'all be doing this crazy stuff on this feed and still ain't got no good dogs yet. So just keep it basic. You know what I'm saying? Go to the vet. See what they talking about. Look up foods. See what food go best for your dog. Because your dog might not even some foods might not be for it. You see it, you start feeding this food, he start losing weight because it ain't got the right nutrients in that food. It ain't got what it need in that food to make it do what it need to do. So that's why I be telling y'all love y'all dog, take care of y'all dog. But back to these mixed breeds and mongrels. So I have no problem if you like mixed breed dogs, but I have what I have a problem is when you trying to call it a full blooded dog and it's a mixed breed dog and you trying to get off of it as a full blooded dog when it's a mixed breed dog. When this dog got this genetic in it, it's going to reproduce itself when soon it run into that genetic to make it expose itself. And you will see the impurity of the blood. People don't think it's such thing as pure blood, but or when you get your blood too pure, you get like diseases and stuff. No, what happened was one of those dogs had that disease in it. And when you started compressing them genes together and trying to purify the line, that gene exposed itself because it stacks up on top of each other. Now, what you're supposed to do is get rid of that dog by neutering it and spading it off the top. You don't sell that dog to somebody because somebody gonna use that dog, even if because it's gonna look the part. It might be an overdone dog. That's why I always go back to them standards. The standards is just a guideline to keep your dogs in sync of what it's supposed to be. Like the Dalmatian been mixed up because they started having trouble. But I wonder what's they breeding the best type to the best type, or people was breeding they Dalmatians, and most likely people were just breeding they Dalmatians, and without spay and neutering these Dalmatians with these flaws, you put that genetic back into the bloodline to be exposed, and sooner or later you're gonna ruin the whole blood. Like sooner or later it won't be no original Rottweilers. That blood gonna be gone. uh, all the purebred bloods will be gone because of people mixing other dogs to make the thinking they making the dog better when you shouldn't do that. If you wanted to go that route, then why did you not take that dog and take the freaks of that dog? If you wanted the bigger Rottweiler, why did you not take the Rottweiler that's full blooded to show the bigger genes? But guess what? It'll go out of the standard. And that's what you don't want to do. You want to stay in that standard is a guideline, and that's all I'm gonna tell y'all about that standard. It's just a guideline. Not saying that your dogs can't be over, and not saying that your dogs can't be under. It's just the preferred size that the people that made this dog said this dog come this way. And yes, you can get throwbacks of the dogs they used. Let's say, like with my breed of dog, the bully bulldog or the old English bully, whatever you want to call it. I call it the bully bulldog with my breed of dog. So you run about the lines of a 50% bully, 50% bulldog. Bulldog is more of a blanket term. And right now, bully, I don't know what they bullies are, but I knew what my bullies was when I started using them. So I'm breeding a dog. I want it to be a dog that have a certain look, come with certain attributes, and come certain ways. I can't add other dogs to it because when I add another dog to it that is not of that, I have to go back and rebreed the stuff that I bred for out of the dogs. So if I bred for spots and I brought another dog in that was a piebald, just for the color, or for you can have whole better spots, or that piebald, I gotta breed all that back out and redo my work. I gotta rebreed that piebald out until the dogs just start producing these spots. But once it's in there, it is in there. What you do is you breed away from it. It's still in there. That piebald is still in there, but you breathe heavy away from it. And every dog that display the piebald instead of the ticking or the spots, You must get rid of that, and that cannot go back in the line. Even if you breed two of them that has the ticking or the spots, and it throws one with a pie ball, that dog cannot go back in the line. And to be honest, those two dogs that bred each other do not need to be rebred, because they're going to reproduce this pie ball that's in them, because they still have that genetic for it. And that genetic, even though you have bred it down to be a recessive gene, that it really don't display itself. Once these two recessives hit each other, it would display itself. And that's not what you want to do. You don't, when you breeding for your dog, you don't want it to display the recessive gene that you bred in it to make it a recessive gene. Yeah, just therapy, emotional support dog. Love your dogs. Make sure you take care of your dogs. Bathe your dogs, cut your dog toenails. You know what I mean? Just really spend a whole lot of time with your dogs so your dog can imprint on you real good. So that's just therapy, emotional support dog way of looking at it. But once you breed this dog in your dog, you cannot get rid of it. You can't go back and say that these dogs are these same dogs that you use with tick and spots, or whatever you want to call it. I'm just using both terms right now, tick and spot, because when you bred that pie ball in there, now what you have done now, you have made a new breed. You have made a whole new breed. And even though these dogs show the same characteristics of your dog, because you don't bred the piebald out, and now you have the Texas spot, it still have that piebald genetic in it somewhere, which I don't think you will ever get rid of that piebald genetic. And when that it'll expose itself. When somebody go certain two lines and they get the breeding on that dog, and they trying to purify their line to get their dog to look a certain way, that genetic will expose itself. It's just like you could basically breed anything out your dog. Like, I don't know if you could breed a healthy bulldog, because the genetics are so messed up that it'll probably take about 50 years to breed a healthy bulldog. On selected breeding, and you will have to be neutering and spading and neutering and spading and neutering and spading. And now, from the old bulldog that we once had, that's more shaped like a pit bull with a bulldog face. Now they say from selected breeding, and that's how they got them dogs. Me, I can't. When I see the dogs of then and I see the dogs of now, I can't say that that was selected breeding, but I can say that I seen it going in a different direction as of the bulldogs. Cause we seen them go from being healthy dogs, big dogs, uh, gladiator dogs, to these dogs that are really broke down, wet or wrinkled. So we seeing a big change in the dog. To say therapy, emotional support dog. Make sure you take care of your dogs. Make sure you take care of your animals. But we don't see a big change in the bulldog from back then to now. So me looking at it, is it another dog in there? Did they add another dog in there to get this dog? Is that selected breeding? Could they select to a dog from being functional to being unfunctional? Which is very possible. It is very, very possible on selection. And they say the inbreeding done that. Now, I I disagree that the inbreeding made that happen. What it was the selection that they was taking care of. See that selection because you could put bulldogs out in the woods. Let's say you take a pack of bulldogs, like 20, 25. You feed them and stuff like that, and you just let them stay in the woods. Them English bulldogs. You feeding them. That's all you doing is feeding them water. Sooner or later, better dogs are going to come out of that from the selection of nation who can handle the conditions of the weather. After that, selected a breeding who can breed each other, who can have natural babies. So a lot of the bulldogs that do not possess these attributes will be they won't be no count. You won't even have to worry about these dogs even being in the litter because of the conditions of the environment. It will naturally take its course on the best dog breeding to the best dog, the dog who can have puppies living. Because once when the puppies get stuck in her, you know the chances of her passing them gets big. Her absorbing them, most likely, I don't know if that'll happen or not, but we do know that these dogs will correct themselves if they don't all pass out, if they don't all pass away. I mean, due to the harsh nature environments, cold weather, hot weather, snow, sleet, being out there, and we're not even talking about finding fresh water and food. We're talking about feeding them still. The environment itself of them dogs being out there, different genetics in them dogs should come. Environment plays a big part in your dog. So different genetics should awaken in them due to where they at and that selective breeding that they do themselves. It's gonna be like, hmm, I, well, dang. Well, yeah, and that's absolutely true. You know what I mean? It will fix its. I don't know if it'll fix itself because we talking bulldogs. Them dogs be breathing like ah. I don't know, but we talking about dropping 20 bulldogs out there that's not so closely bred to each other, and seeing if they can handle the conditions. If they can handle the conditions of summer, winter, spring, and fall and breed again. The puppies that come off of that should be better dogs. But I see a lot of dogs not making it. I see a lot of dogs that some are tearing them up. But the ones that do make it is going to produce this better genetics for dogs that can survive, at least in those conditions, due to what they're going through. The strongest, the ones that can mount, will breed the ones that can mount. The ones that can have puppies will survive. The ones that can't have puppies will go away. So slowly and surely, it will be breeding a genetic to where these dogs can have puppies without having C sections. Because every one of them that came through the womb. And the ones who can't breed this way will not be able to breed. The ones that can't mount will not be able to mount. The ones that can't survive the conditions and overheating will not survive. So you will only get these good bulldogs. Mm, I hear you. I hear you, Pablo. Comment. Say more. You know what I mean? Get in here. Get in here. Of course, I listen to other streamers. I listen to all the dog man. I'm a dog man. I'm a dog student myself. I own dogs. I'm not just really big on breeding. I have to have so many people who already bought dogs before I even breed my dogs, because this is therapy, emotional support dogs. These dogs really not good with, like, I don't know. Like, I don't see them be stable in all type of situations. I don't see them thrive in all type of situations. Um, Have I ever had to pull a dog out of a bad situation? Yes, because therapy emotional support dog, um, some of these dogs you gotta some of these dogs be more attached to a person, and you cannot leave these dogs by themselves. Sometimes, like when I say by themselves, alone all the time. Nobody wants to be alone all the time. A bird in the cage and just sitting there. You don't even see the look. Nothing else. You don't see the little dude that feeds you. He feeds you under the dark. Nobody wants that. And that's a life we talking about. That's why I tell y'all to get with it and get with these dogs. But yeah, sooner or later, and that's how genetics may work in their favor when you trying to breed a better dog. When you trying to come to selection is everything. Can you select the better dog? Can you? Can you breed for a better dog? Yes, you can. So I got a friend breeding exotics, and the exotic game is so hurt. It is so hurt, and I don't know the exotic to say, hey, this is the exotic that you should go by. These are the standards. I don't. Somebody run me the exotic standards right quick. If you got them, Chan, post them in the chat. If y'all get a chance, run me those exotic standards because I don't. I be seeing some stuff, and the pugs don't even be like that. The Frenchies don't be like that. I have to be able to, I can say this. The pugs, the Frenchies don't be like that. None of them small dogs be like the exotics in structure, health, motion, movement. None of these dogs be in that frame. So I really don't know. Do y'all think y'all can breed a functional exotic? What I mean, a little dog, because I don't have little dogs jump on the couch. I don't have little dogs be able to really jump. Like, really, these are little dogs, but they really athletes. I don't see Chihuahuas run at top speed getting down with a good gallop. Like, I don't see small dogs really move, so I don't understand why this dog is not as functional as other small dogs. I don't understand. If anybody can say, just let me know. But other than that, I don't understand. I don't understand at all. Super, what you say? But can you breed a functional dog from this? Can you breed a? I see some that are better than others. So I'm gonna say the same thing. But with them, they almost. I think the bulldog got a better chance than the exotic bully. If y'all want to disagree with me, then y'all could disagree with me. I think the bulldog got a better chance than the exotic bully when it comes to these dogs. What do y'all got to say in the chat? Who has the better chance? You put 20 exotics in the woods, all you do is feed and water them. You put 20 English bulldogs in the woods, all you do is feed and water them. I have more faith in the bulldog program because it is some bulldogs that can move, not like move, but can move a little. And the exotics, boy, all I just now we talking about no predators now. They each have no predators out there. It ain't nothing to make them sick. It's perfect conditions out there for any animal to thrive. And you gonna be feeding them water. It's gonna be food at all times. It's gonna be water at all times. It's gonna be enough for every dog that's out there. They ain't gonna have to fight or none of that for food or water. I don't know if I see the exotic making it. Now, do I have dogs with a little exotic blood in it? Yes, I do. I actually do. I have bred from exotic blood, and what I noticed is, well, my dog, the dog I got, is the only puppy that came off the litter. So you would have to. I don't know about that exotic blood. I haven't seen, like, I see people breeding the dog, but my exotic blood is like it was already cut with a pocket, and then after that they put like another like standard or pocket on top of that, and then I got my dog. So my dog is like 25%. If we were gonna say of that type of dog, is 25% of that dog. But the dogs that I look at and see on my exotic, these are dogs that can move just as good as a bulldog can move. So I'm not worried about that. Now, telling you what I be pulling from it when I do use that exotic blood with my dogs. That is an amazing feat because the dogs that I have. So if y'all want to hear about that, all you gotta do is just tap in, and we'll go on more about that. But this is just for people who just want to talk dogs. Y'all ain't tapping in as much. Um, but I would like for y'all to tap in more and more and more. Now, because there's a lot of people that say inbreeding destroy dogs. If that's the case, if inbreeding destroy dogs, why are these dogs making it to be um like litters, hundreds of them, when they was creating this dog, when they was putting these bloods together and going back to the same dog so many times, and you know what I'm saying, line breeding, back breeding, and they doing all this breeding. How come these dogs made it to today? These dogs really didn't get messed up into breeders was breeding that didn't know that the dog that they had wasn't supposed to be bred. The dog that they had was not supposed to be bred. Bros, you hear me? Instant bros, you hear me? It wasn't even a dog they supposed to breed, but they breeding it. When you go into the standards, you must stay in the standards. When you get a dog that is genetically flawed, you do not put those flawed genetics in that dog. That's all I'm saying. You don't put them flawed genetics in them dogs. That's how you mess up the breed. What you want to do is take them flawed genetics and get rid of them and continue on with your breeding. People be trying to make I know a lot of breeds that are up and coming breeds that ain't able to keep up with their standards because of the way I'm just now starting to breed. But before I even started getting deeper into my breeding, it's tons of notes you want to make, and then it's people who know, okay, not on, let's say we breeding other animals. It's people that know that to get this animal to look like it's supposed to look, you got to make a cross. And then when you go to put the same blood together, it's not gonna look the same way. It's the cross of the hyper vigor than making the dog look this way. Cause it's a hybrid. It's like, I'm not gonna say it's two different species, cause we steady talking about dogs. But you looking at dogs with COI of like 24 and higher, like on a good full blooded dog. That's that dog tight, boy. That dog is so tight. Them German shepherds be so tight when they, cause they be basically related to each other. They all sharing a common ancestors. When you breed in these dogs, you have to breed to a type to reproduce what you're getting. And if you add another dog in there, you undo everything you was doing. How you gonna undo what you trying to make? How you gonna undo what you trying to make? And a lot of people do it. A lot of people undo their blood, especially cause because they took the dog that had the bad genetics and bred it back into their dogs, and then wonder why they got some funky stuff out their litter. And people are trying to blame it on inbreeding. No, it's not inbreeding. It's poor breeding. It is poor breeding. You know, we babying these dogs, so we hindering these dogs in such a way already. We hindering the dog because we ain't got the dog in its natural environment. It's not funny. It's not funny, but we hindering the dog because we don't have the dog in its natural environment. Now this is still a animal, and to get the best out of this animal, it need to be in a habitat that is best for him. So that's like back to living conditions. Your dog need to be in a living condition that is better for him to thrive. If you want to see everything you want to see in your dog, and then after that, it is nutrients. You want to see your dog at its best. You need to have that dog in the best situation to be able to thrive, and the proper nutrients with that. That nutrients gonna pay that area. I don't know which one plays the bigger role, nutrients versus habitat. Okay, okay. We're gonna check you out at Dogs at Dogs. Let me pin that up right quick in the messages for a second. So we got this lady say at Dogs. Now I'm gonna pin that up at the top for a little second. If y'all got any questions, I will pin it up for you. Cause that's what it's all about right now. We're talking about these dogs. But you can't get your dog in the proper habitat, you're not gonna get what you really got. So you could be selling yourself short. So you breeding dogs and your dog look all right, but then when you breed your dog throwing dogs in different habitats that look better than your dog. Your dog had these genetics in them. At the time, you didn't exercise these genetics to make your dog blossom into the full thing he's supposed to be. You hindered him. So you got to think, okay, environment. What is the best environment for a dog? You know, carnivorous. We talking about dogs, canines. You talking about really, uh, you talking about really 140 acres. Now I do agree with the chain. I do agree with the chain because if I'm not mistaken, my research say, let me clean that up real quick. Let me see. Let me see. I do, I do 110% agree with the chain. Only because the chain and dogs been going together for years and years. Just like the stable is for horses. But if it comes to doing, let's say we gonna pick between a kennel, and when we say kennel, we talking about 10 by 10 versus a 10 foot chain. That 10 foot chain is really 20 foot because it's 10 foot in every direction. That 10 by 10 is more like having your dog on a 5 foot chain. And not only that, that chain is there to brace the dog, keep the dog out of trouble, keep the dog out the neighbor's yard. That fence, I don't know about that closed and captured, but that chain give your dog, that chain and a dog been together for years. So I definitely agree with the chain over a kennel, 110% because of the freedom and the jerking and what he can do on that chain. He can go left, right, back, forth, jump, be on the back of his feet. In that chain is also weighing him down. So he's also bodybuilding. And most people, just like you, don't leave your dog in the kennel all the time. You're not going to leave your dog on that chain all the time. You going to still run him. You still going to exercise your dog. You still going to throw him the ball. But that outside area give your dog the freedom to be able to use the bathroom like he want to. Be able to pee like he want to. In the outside, some dogs even bury they boo-boo. They'll dig a hole and bury the boo-boo so they don't want to smell it. You have dogs out there that are made really for this. Yeah, I know. It's kind of crazy. Dogs will bury their boo boo. And that's you looking for your dog to be the greatest dog in the world. The greatest, I ain't no saying the world. When I say in the world, in his world. You want your dog to be the greatest dog in his world. That only means the greatest to his capability. It's not based on another dog capability and what another dog is or what another dog is. You want your dog to be the best dog that he can be. So, like I said, I agree on 110% with having your dog on the chain. And if you could do a chain in runner, so let's say you got a 10 foot chain and you got like a 30 feet runner with this. Oh my God, he almost got a yard. Now you looking at something like this real close to having a yard, but the dog is tethered. You want your dog to be tethered, to be restrained, to be banned back because you don't want any accidents. And that's what the fence was for. But fences make your dog different. They say a chain make your dog mean. That fence do something else to your dog. That concrete mess up your dog just like it mess up you. So you got your dog on concrete 24/24, or let's say you let him out 2 times a day, 2 hours. So you got him on concrete 22 hours. The only way he can be off of concrete is if he walk in that doghouse and lay down and get off that high concrete or that cold concrete or what that hard concrete. But you messing up the way your whole dog is built. But you're compressing his joints by that concrete. You you're messing your dog body structure up. Now, and if you got your dog in a house kennel, which I hate those the most. Now I understand you got to keep your dog safe. And a house kennel is yeah, I hate house kennels the most. I hate house kennels the most because I have seen so many dogs deteriorate um muscular in the house kennel. You can tell it. You can look at the dog and see the deterioration of the dog muscle. Now, I think honestly that they should let people go back to having dogs and chains because this house kennel thing is not what's up. I be looking at other people stuff, but I understand that you gotta leave your dog in the kennel. Like when you go to work, you don't want your dog roaming the house. When you out at the house, you letting your dog out the whole time that you at the house. When you sleep, the dog is roaming around the house, moving because this dog need to be able to It needs this motion. If not, then your dogs, you looking at what'll happen to you on a common sense level. You gonna get stiff. You gonna get stiffed in the son of a gun in that cage, in that kennel. And that's not what you want. You don't want your dog getting stiff. So you want something to calibrate your dog to something like that he can always have room. So if you are got a house kennel, make sure y'all got your house kennels big enough that this dog can at least scratch out. Just scratch out. That's all I'm saying. Make sure if you got them in a house kennel that you playing fetch with them. You take it easy on his joints. You let him go outside. You let him stretch a little bit to make sure he can warm his joints up. If you can get anything for his joints, you get that. But guess what? If you had that dog on the chain, you'll never have to worry about them joints doing that stuff. Yeah, I would like to say, hey, you know what I'm saying? Hey to who is this? Marie, you know what I'm saying? I picked your comment up. You know, if you have anything else to say, you're more than welcome. If anybody else have anything else to say, environment plays a key, key important to your dog development. So, and it's so crazy that it's like this. You got a dog in a bad environment. Let's say I'm finna make an environment. None of y'all take offense to the environment that I made that I feel like, from my opinion, this is just my opinion of what's bad for a dog. So, a person, he got two jobs. Um, he letting the dogs out, feeding them, letting them use the bathroom, put them back up. You know, cause he got two jobs, he's sleeping and stuff. He don't let his dog sleep outside the kennel when he here and stuff like that. Versus, but it get fed good every day. All the proper foods, all the proper nutrients, all the proper minerals, like everything. Like the dog keep of the dog, he's doing great. All right, versus a dog that is outside eating out the garbage, scavenging every once in a while, and doing all that type of stuff. Like the dog is really outside. He eat when he get to eat. He barely get to eat. So you looking at a dog like that. Um, that dog that's outside, that's struggling to survive, is healthier, feels physically able and physically more healthier than your dog with all the proper vitamins in it because of the environment. That other dog is able to move, so his body is more conditioned than your dog is. And that's what you're looking at. That's just like you looking at people, versus you being in the house all the time versus somebody who on the track team. You're not gonna be able to move like that person on the track team because you're not conditioned for that. Your environment has hindered you by being in that house like that. It has hindered you from being able to be like the track member because his environment is different than yours. And that's the same way it is with these dogs. If you want your best dog, your dog must be in an accurate environment. And I want to put environment over nutrients. That's how serious environment is to all of us. Not only dogs, but to you too. Because if you put you in a harsher environment, then you would change or you would not make it. You will have two choices. It's either you would change. If we put you in an environment where you have to grow your own food, you have to build your own house and all those things, your in you survive. Your physical attributes would change for that situation. If you go from, and I have seen it like different jobs. This is what we mean environment. Environment is just not okay. We outside, but it's like what's going on. Do you have to run for your life? Or you swinging tires? Or you sitting on the forklift? Work environment. It's not only like how things is at work. Oh, I'm in a good environment. People happy here. It's not only that, but having a harsh job give you a different environment. Now, how would you offset your dog being in the cage? Um, First, get a bigger cage. Get a bigger cage. This is what we want to do. We want to get him a bigger cage, and that cage is for nothing for him to sleep in and keep him protected when you're not there. So get him a bigger house kennel so he can always stretch out, so he'll never be cramped. He never have to ball 1 feet up, and that's why I agree with the chain so much. Now you'll really see why I agree with the chain so much, because I'm telling you about the kennel, how deadly the kennel is. Even the kennel where the dogs go on the inside and they in air and stuff like that, and then they come out. Really, this is really bad for a dog because he's not being a dog. You want him to be hard. You want him to be tough. You want him to throw the best of genetics. His best him when he is in his best form, he's gonna throw the better puppies at that time. Let's see what's still going on. Let's pin this up in the comments. All right, Miss Marie, send another message. I have oldies. I do not have an English bulldog, but it most likely I'm not gonna stud you one of my dogs unless you have one of my dogs. So you will have to have one of my dogs to get a stud off of one of my dogs, and you probably that's most likely I went and stud you one of my male dogs, but yes, we do have some that are for stud, but you'll have to go to them. Now, me personally, I I like studying my dogs to my dogs because that's a more complete breeding. I don't want you to add extra attributes to this dog that I have already bred away from it. I have already bred away from certain color patterns that my dogs will not produce these colors when you put them together. When you put a dog that is outside of what I have produced or I have put together, it's gonna produce these colors that's not supposed to be in these dogs. And these colors that are in these dogs are directly related to a dog. Just like spots are directly related to the Dalmatian. So when you see a dog with spots, it is an 85% chance that he got those spots from the Dalmatian. Not directly, but the dog that gave him the spots got it from the Dalmatian. Or the dog is still the original dog that had these spots like this is the Dalmatian. So when you breed these attributes, that's going back to what I was telling people about. You got to know what you breeding for. It's not putting dogs together and seeing what you gonna get. You putting dogs together and knowing what you and trying to get something. You're not seeing what you gonna get. You're already directing these dogs and you putting these dogs to get a specific thing. Whether if you get it or not, you was aiming for something. But you can reach out to me at Therapy.Emotional.Support.Dog, and I will talk to some of my breeders, and I will let you know if they'll let you get a stud off my dog. But like I said, I would rather for you to buy a puppy from me, generally a female, and then get a stud from me, or get a male and I use your male to my dogs. But going outside of what I have already created, I think that would be the worst thing that you could do. So, how much, you know, it is certain dogs that I would bring into my program because there's different. I have to just really get into it about what is breeding, how to breed, how to create your own blood, how to create your own line. So it is certain dogs that I would, but most likely I buy the whole dog from you. If you had a female dog that I like, um, most likely I just try to buy the whole dog from you and bring it into my program because I wouldn't want it no other way. If you had a female that I liked it like that, and I said, okay, cool. But like I said, I do got other breeders, and they're willing to breed, but your dog won't be what my dogs are. When you breed with one of my dogs, I don't think it's fair for you to say that it's the same breed as my dog. No, no matter if it has some of the same attributes and the same characteristics, I don't think it's fair for you to say that we have the same breed of dog when when we drop puppies, we ain't dropping the same type of puppies. When uh when our dogs get older, your dog gonna have different carry different attributes than my dogs because of the specific thing that I'm breeding towards and the dogs that I'm eliminating from my breeding to purify what I'm trying to do or to we're not gonna even say purify to come to a dog that resembles the idea that I have in my head or the idea that I put on paper. This is what standards are for. When you make these standards, it keep not only that, like for new dog breeders that's out there trying to make the dog the way they want to make it. Even if you like creating your own Chihuahua, these standards that you making, you can take a Chihuahua and make you a Pacific Chihuahua. Your standards will keep you in the direction of making the dog that you want to make. And this is what you want to do. You want to create the dog that you want to make. Now, I always thought about studying my dogs out, but if I did, like I got dogs that I stud out, but when it comes to like my oldie, I stud him out. His stud fee right now it's like at 800. It's not high, and but he's not. I'm not gonna let you put him to anything. You can't put him to no pit bull. You can't put him to no chihuahua. You can't put him to. It's a lot of dogs I won't even allow you to put him to. Most likely you'll have to put him to an oldie or put him to a dog that is in that same class. But I have males. I have a male. I don't have males. I have one male, and then we have another male of the first creations. You might see him on my page. Right now, his view count is like 1,800 and something. They say he's one of the best dogs I produce, and he got great temperament. He's very protected, intelligent, and a lot of people like him. Me personally, I like a weak, scary, or I like a like not like scared, but like a dog that won't it won't fight. It won't do none of that. It don't. I like a non-aggressive dog. That's my favorite type of dog. Now, therapy and most support dog. The dog will protect you, and protection is really nothing but barking, alert me, cause you can't whoop no gun. You know, you still a dog. Bark, bow bow, wow wow. You can't whoop no gun, and alerting me to this fact, cause I just need that alertion. I need something to stop the intruder from give it. I just need the time, the time to make a person think about it. The time where I see you before you see me, type of situation. I don't. I'm not a violent person, so I don't crave a dog that will be violent towards a person. I don't crave a dog that'll chase you down the road. I don't crave that. I crave more of a dog that'll bark and walk away from you. let you know, hey, I am here. But the dogs I got right now, they'll bark and walk away from you. But don't you run up on them. Don't you try to chase them in the house because they ain't got that spirit to run from you. They barking and walking away from you to let you know, hey, I am here. I perceive you as a threat. I'm going to go back to my station. I'm going to go back to my area to protect what I love. And that's what I like about therapy emotional support dogs the most. Because I like that attribute, that dog that'll go back to its area to protect what he loves instead of doing all that crazy stuff. But yeah, so right now my bulldog fee on my OD is 800 to get into my program. Like I said, after we have so many people who want dogs, then we breed dogs. Like I say, therapy, emotional support dogs. It's not a real costly dog at the moment. You just got to go through a couple of, we got to go through a couple of things that we're not going to get involved in right now, or we're not going to talk about it right now. So yes, there was the question on how much is our stud fee right now. 800 on my bulldogs. In therapy and most support dog, we still building our dogs. So right now we still in the F1s and F2s and F3 situations. Now knowing what we looking for in our dogs is a that's what we knowing what we're not just over here at therapy and most support dog. We're not just breeding a dog like to see what we gonna get. Oh, these gonna be some nice puppies. Oh, we gonna make some money off of these dogs. Now I do have dogs that are for the public, but I have dogs that are not for the public also. I have dogs that I'm not gonna sell you. I have dogs that I'm not gonna let you breed with. I have dogs that you cannot get this until I'm finished with what I'm doing. You can get sub blood. You might get some dogs that have this in it, but you will not get my final product until I'm finished with it. And we really, really, really breeding dogs. Now back to this chain situation right here, because I I have to harken on this again. Put that dog on the chain, man, and get that dog out that kennel. I have to harken on this again. Get that dog out that little crate and put him on the chain. Cause I'm not gonna let this pass. I'm not gonna let this pass. You think I'm gonna let this pass? When that dog in that little kennel, put that dog on the chain, let that dog stretch out far as he can stretch out, and sit any way he wanna sit, and lay any way he wanna lay. Oh, the dog is on the chain, bro. The dog is in the crate, and they want you to. They know they making your dog unhealthy. They know they making your dog unhealthy. That's what they doing. Who want to create an unhealthy dog? Not me. Not me. I don't want no unhealthy dog. I wouldn't want to come in this world unhealthy. But what genetics are you bringing to the front when you putting these dogs in the kennel? And what genetics are you suppressing? But yeah, we did bring a dog on the market as a stud. and I know what he adding to your dog. I know what he's gonna add to your dog. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the last time I checked in with the person, they was getting like 1,100. I don't know if they went up or went down, but like I said, we did bring him on to the market. We have another dog that he'll never come on the market. My male dog that I have off of my breeding, where it's only three of them, it's two boys and a female. My male dog will never ever go on the market as a stud dog to anybody dog. He will always forever be in my blood. You can get something off of him. And when you get something off of him, that's when you come and get these stud dogs that I let you get for a little bit cheaper. Cause I'm gonna be creating these dogs, but I keep girls. Every once in a while I keep a boy. And like I said, harping back on that chain thing, take that dog and put that dog on the chain, man. Put that dog on the chain. Got that dog in that kennel, and that dog ain't. I seen dogs grow so fast outside compared to the dogs that grow and people that have puppies inside. If you want your dog, cause like I'm finna build a little kennel outside. I'm finna probably order me a little kennel to go outside in the back for when I drop my puppies. Because I know how that environment is so great on these dogs. And you want the biggest environment. That's what you want. Like I might end up fencing off like my whole half a backyard back there just for my dogs, and then put a couple of kennels back there, and so I can when I drop my puppies, I'll be able to okay, boom, they go here. Not only that, they're in the yard, they're getting acclimated to the environment. They building um what is it when you immunity? They building immunity to the environment. You want all this. You want all this. That's the only time I say take the mother off the chain is when she drop puppies. Take off the chain and let her free range in a particular area. So you want like, let's say on a free range, a mother kennel, good puppies. Okay, you want about a 40 by 20 area. That's on the small size. I say a good 40 by 20 would be a good size to raise a litter of puppies in and get great results out of some 6 weeks old puppies. Bigger puppies than you ever had. The development would be better. But first, you wanna do what you gotta do. Have them in the spot. I like using the swimming pool so they can't get out. When they get to an age where they can get out, that's when you remove the swimming pool and put them in a larger area because they're able to walk. Now they can go into this larger area, this 40 by 20, and that's on the small side. Now you could do it smaller, but I say 40 by 20 is the smallest you should do it in an area when you are dealing with dogs and dealing with puppies and dealing with those type of things because environment play a key role. And you can open up genetics in these dogs at an early age by putting them in a proper environment, or you can suppress genetics at an early age by having them in an improper environment. But I go with the chain over all that. Over kennels, when it comes to kennels and all that, I go with the chain, being outside in that environment, the whole time, um, because it's acclimating your dog to the environment and it's getting the best genetics, and you really seeing the type of dog you got. You're seeing it in all type of conditions. You're seeing it in all type of weathers. And this right here is better for the dog altogether because we're trying to do what's best for the dog. Especially here at Therapy.Emotional.Support.Dog, we our life is saying, hey, where do they get these good dogs from? How do they raise these best dogs? You should be thinking when you get your dog. First, you should look at how the owner keeping his dogs. Cause the way the owner keeping his dogs, most likely that's the size your dog gonna be if you keep it the way he's keeping it, or it's gonna be smaller. Because I think you're suppressing the genetics. Now you want them to be bigger, you want them to be healthier. You put them outside, you let them roam, especially if you got like a little backyard that you can let them roam 24/7. Oh, if you can get that 24/7 in, if you can get that backyard 24/7, now that's the only thing I say that'll be better than a chain. But if you got multiple dogs and you got males, you need something to separate these males and females, because females like to act up and be territorial and try to be an omega. So you don't want that either. Putting certain dogs together is always a good thing. Marie, I'm glad that you was very involved tonight. Um, if you have any other questions, now, oh, I pinned this up. You have the English bulldog, which is like the smallest bulldog. Let me put this up just for a second. Um, so you have the English bulldogs, and I have an oldie, and then I have old English bullies, or we call them bully bulls. So I have old English bullies, or what you'll call a bully bull. So you have the English bulldog. Your English bulldog is gonna be like more your short uh dog that breed like they're gonna be overdone. And then you have your oldie, which is between an American and an English in size. But you have two types. You have your Johnsons and you have your Allen Scott, and then you have your hybrids, and then you have this new one that they call the bully one, the bullier one, which is most comprised of particular Johnson's bloodline to make a bullier Johnson dog to keep the Johnson dog bully. Okay, Allen Scott made all right. So my white male, he would be, he's actually English, oldie, and American. So he's like an oldie. So I have a white male dog. If you go on here, you might see him. He's on the change in one of my videos. Nice size head. Um, that's more of like your oldie. Okay, then you have one that's bigger than that. So around like I think like 23, 29 inches, something like that. You have like your American bulldog. So it's like sizes, but these are totally. I can't even say these are different dogs at this point. Me knowing the dog and the genetic makeup of these dogs, but these dogs have different dogs in them. They have the similar of the same dog in them, but they have different dogs in them to complete them. Like the OD is Pit Bull, Master, American Bulldog, and old English Bulldog. That's the oldie. The English Bulldog is English Bulldog, and whatever dogs they use to make that one, you know, it come and that's not what we're going into. We just keeping it basic on what these three dogs are. All right, then you got the American Bulldog, which is supposed to be just your bigger bulldog. It is comprised of of a couple of dogs in itself. So, but they all got bulldog in them. They all got English bulldog in them. And the English bulldog is what they're using to make these other dogs. They use the English bulldog in some of the American blood. They use the English bulldog in some of the oldie blood. They use the American in some of the oldie blood. And if I'm not mistaken, vice versa. But it's a little more. It's like I don't like. It's just too. It's too much. It's overwhelming. It's overwhelming. But basically, the English one is the shortest one. The oldie is the middle sized one, and the American is the big one. And you got two Americans. You got the bulldog looking one, and you got one that look closer to what you'll call a pit bull. That's all. That's what it is when it comes to these dogs. So we up here in this. Let's see who else has something to say. Um, well, he has said on every screen. On Chloe has said that on every screen. Now here, I think we was talking more about environment on this time when this came in. He's saying his home guy says this all the time. Um, that environment plays a key role in your dog. And if you want to get the best dog you want to get, it is up to you to put it in the right environment. Why do I keep harping back on these three things? Environment, the chain, and therapy, emotional support dog, love your dog, spend time with your dog. Why do I harp on them things the most, or so much? Because what are we here for when we get dogs? Are we here to give this animal a better life than he ever could have had on his own? Do you not understand that? We here to give this dog a better life than he could have had on his own. We must go against the masses because you have in this world you have different parents. You have parents that prepare their child to be the best they can be in the world, to be the best that they can be in the world. And we have parents that how should I, protect you from the world. So they end up hindering you. With these dogs, it's the same way. Either you going to hinder this dog or you gonna make this dog good. That's the thing about it. Are you gonna hinder this dog or you gonna make this a good dog? Cause that's what everybody really asks. That's what everybody want to know. That's when they see your dog. You can tell who been hindering they dog. You can tell who been babying they dog, and you can tell them dogs. You know them dogs. And some people just get certain dogs because they want that dog. They want something they ain't gotta make to be that dog, or be like, oh, can my dog even perform at this level because of the genetics that's back behind it? oh, my dog have genetics that's inhabited or stop it from performing to the level that meets my needs. Do anybody nobody wants a dog that can't meet the needs that they're trying to get. Now if you want a chill dog, I understand that. But you could breed a chill dog that can still do that is functional. And that's what I be harping on. Good breeding are the best breeders. Some type of guide. It's like you need to make a standard. You need to make a standard. Now we don't hit a couple of messages. Um, Now I think I just pinned up. No, it's the wrong pin. Right person. Wrong pin. Yeah. Now, at Therapy.Emotional.Support.Dog, what kind of dogs do we have? What kind of dogs do we prefer? What kind of dogs do I have? I have a particular breed because I breed a particular way. These are first. Let's start off and say these are my creations of dogs. I breed for like the overall healthier dog, like body structure, temperament. It's if I go too far into it, it'll be off the charts. So I breed more for like we already had station. So I do breeds. I got my blood, boy, boy, boy. And I don't want to give it to y'all all at once. I'm trying to figure out how to say it without just flap telling y'all. So when it's time, but my dogs are really, I started off trying to cure piebald, white dogs, and merles. I started off with that's the way I breed. So my dogs are more like a dog for better genetics for dogs that are piebald, merle, and white. Now I don't deal with a lot of white, but my dogs access or I breed my dogs to access the things that make them be able to go to white dogs. And when you have my genetic in there and it has my genetic and you can see my genetic on your dog phenotype, and not only that, my dog is already in your dog. So if you can see my genetics in your dog phenotype, it helps with the conditions that that the um the piebald have, that the merle have, and that the white would have. So you gotta breed for when you breeding, you need to know what you breeding for. You're not breeding for just anything. You're not breeding for just anything. You're not breeding just to see what will come out of the litter. You're not breeding to see what you're going to make. When you are a breeder, you are breeding for a specific reason. And in this reason, you put these dogs together to try to get what you was looking for. You wasn't trying to see what you was get. You was trying to get what you was looking for. I repeat, you're not trying to see what you will get. That is not a breeder. When I first put my dogs together, I knew what I was looking for. Now I did see what I was gonna get, meaning that when it came, I seen what I got. But I wasn't breeding to see what I would get. I was breeding to get what I was looking for. I was trying to create a specific genetic that I combine these two dogs together so I can pull and grab this genetic that I researched on and that I knew that it would transmit to the puppies and it would keep transmitting to the puppies. So I bred specifically for that genetic. And it's a difference. That's why it's a difference between seeing what you will get and breeding to get what you're looking for. I was looking for something, so I put these dogs together to get what I wanted. I find three classes of it. I did not get it like exactly like the mother, but I found three grades of it that gave me similarities to where I wanted it at. When it did what I wanted it to do, then I knew what I needed to do. Yes, I will continue on breeding these dogs. So I have bully bulldogs, but you know we're therapy and emotional support dogs, and my dog is more of a therapy. It can be trained for a service dog. Any dog can be trained for a service dog. I repeat, any dog can be trained for a service dog. All you have to do is just get it the proper training. A therapy emotional support dog does not have to have that training, but the dog that I am breeding for temperament, I am breeding a therapy emotional support dog in temperament. So this dog should give you that therapeutic in this temperament. It should be like a therapy to you when you have this dog. This dog should show you emotions. This is part of the therapy that goes on with it because this dog gonna be emotional to you. You know dogs can sense your emotions. So why not breed on the attributes of the dogs that can sense those things the most? And you will have dogs that have these characteristics. So support. You need support in your daily life. You need a reason to go on. Not only that, this dog is going to alert you. This dog will protect you because it has a protected nature that I have already selected in its temperament. Now it has a protected nature that I have already selected in its temperament. But you know, and depending on this is a bulldog, so depending on how it's raised, this dog is gonna be something like that. This dog is gonna fit the temperament that you want it to have. So just because, like me, I want my dogs to be docile, so my dogs are docile. But if you don't want your dog docile, it's not gonna be that because this dog still is a therapy emotional. So this dog know how your emotions feel. So how you it about know how you want it to treat people. And that's the thing about therapy emotional support dog. So me as a breeder, when I'm breeding for a particular dog. When I go and put my pair together, I'm pairing these dogs, and I can already tell you before I breed these dogs what type of puppies should come out of this litter. I know my dogs. I know what my dogs are going to throw. So I know what puppies are coming out of this litter. And it's about pairing. It's about pairing dogs. You know, And if your selection is not correct in your parent, you're not gonna get nowhere. You're gonna keep going in the same circle, wondering why you keep throwing all these crazy dogs in your standards that you wrote, and you're not getting any closer to your dog that you wanted. Because first of all, you're not following your standards. Most likely you didn't write a standard, you ain't following your standards. So sooner or later, my dogs like I got breeders coming up. Right now I got a male. He ain't even like you can't even get his blood. I got another male. I think they at 15, 1100, but I want to talk her into going up to 5,000 because I know the blood. I know what these dogs gonna produce. I know what they gonna be in the thriving situation. I know what I know what this dog gonna produce when he put it with your little raggedy dog. I know what my dog's gonna produce when you put it with your raggedy dog and it get in the right environment. And I don't mean to call your dog raggedy, but I can I can put my dog with a dog that is not even in the same range as my dog, like physical wise, like phenotype wise. Like I can put my dog with like a pit bull type dog, greyhound looking type dog, and still produce a greater dog than the dog that it came off of. I can still produce this off my dogs. I know what my blood gonna do. I know that what you looking for, my blood gonna do that with your blood. Whatever dog you got, my dog blood gonna do that with your dog blood. If you want something with more muscles, my dog's gonna produce that. My dogs are bred for that. My dogs are bred to have a lot of muscle. My dogs are bred to have a straight back, a straight feet. My dogs are bred a particular way to correct incorrect dogs. But I like to keep my dogs in my dog. And if you breed it with your dog, it's no longer my dog. But I know that my dog is bred to correct incorrect dogs. Like right now, I'm still in the selection portion of my dogs. So right now, we still in the selection form. So what I select the breed, every time I select the breed, it's gonna go up. So I just seen my guy at y'all check my guy out at Face the Bully too. You know, if I can ever catch him, yeah, I tell him like y'all, I'm telling y'all, come check out my little live. I had to get that Face the Bully real quick because I already know like I already know that's my guy. He real cool. He he real decent. He real decent. And if he jump in the live, it'll be just even lit. I'm just talking about these different dogs and you know how they go. Oh yeah, nah, I support other people. That's what I do. Now we took that off. Like I said, we still alive. We still alive. We still up and we still about. We still up and we still about. Y'all don't be scared to speak. Eventually I'm gonna have to cut it out. I probably been live about 2, 3 hours. Therapy and most support dog gonna stay saying, hey, we stay gonna speak to you. You know what I'm saying? We always looking for just more interaction with y'all. That's what we looking for. More interaction. Because at Therapy and Emotional Support Dog, we need that. We need interaction amongst each other to talk about these dogs, to spread the awareness of these dogs and these harmful conditions that we put these dogs in. We need that awareness because I understand you doing it, but you ain't doing it as big as you supposed to do it because of the law. The law against dogs to get these dogs in the best conditions that we can get them in is already against the law. They want us to put them in horrible conditions to make a worse dog. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Yeah, they want us to put them in horrible conditions. And then when you make a worse dog, what's that? A bad dog. You done made a bad dog. But yeah, I'm finna get ready. Well, I'm just waiting to see if who all gonna pop in, really and truly. I'm just waiting to see who all gonna pop in, so we can see more about therapy, emotional support dog. So we can come up with a plan for these dogs. Cause ain't nobody else trying to come up with nothing. Ain't nobody else reaching out to put these dogs in a better situation. Ain't nobody reaching out to make it like that. Now, what they'll do is they'll make situations worse where you can't even have a dog one day. That's what people be scared to look for. Where they make the situation where you can't even have a dog. And that's why I see things really, really hidden if y'all don't do something to get these dogs back outside. If y'all don't fight to get these dogs back outside, that's all I'm saying. Fight to get the dogs back into their environment. That's all we saying. And if they can't handle outside, then that's going that if they open up the outside laws again, that's the whole dog selling thing will go up. If they open up putting the dogs back on the chain, chained out. Now, if I'm wrong, somebody tell me I'm wrong. Put them in the crate or put them on the chain. Somebody tell me that. Somebody tell me. Put them on the crate or put them on the chain. Now, y'all can say whatever y'all want to say. I'm just waiting on Face the Bully. Just in case he pop on. We'll have a little conversation. Now, we covered a couple of little issues. We covered a couple of little, you know, solving a couple of problems that people might be having out their dogs. Get your dog outside. That's when your dog ain't champion ready. He come off that champion blood, but don't look nothing like his people. Put the dog outside, man. Put the dog outside and watch that dog change. The winter time coming. He ain't no overheat. Give him a good living condition and put him outside. Let him thrive. Just see what I'm talking about. Cause guess what? It been a lot of dogs come that was great right off that chain. There been many dogs that came fresh off that they call off the chain and was off the chain, straight off the chain. There were many dogs off the chain now. Guess what? It's many dogs now. You can't put on the chain. They can't survive the chain. They can't survive no dogging. You can't dog that dog no more. He ain't a real dog. He ain't a real dog no more. What we gonna do about that? We gonna fight for our dogs to be dogs? I mean, I work for my dogs to be dogs, but I'm gonna work myself to this bed so I can get up and dog it again. Man, y'all take them dogs out, man. Make sure you feed them dogs. Make sure you put them dogs in good situations to be the best that they can be. That's all I'm asking from y'all. Therapy, emotional support, dog. You know, that's all I'm asking. We ain't asking nothing else but so let them dogs be dogs. Let them dogs be dogs, man. Give them dogs a good life, man. Let them dogs run and play and be outside in, different terrains and, you know, play fetch with that dog and get that dog tired and acclimated to the weather and let that dog be a dog, man. And stop breeding the dogs that have bad blood, bro. Don't breed the dog if he got skin issues. Don't breed them. That's all you gotta do is not breed that dog. Somebody neuter and spayed that dog. Spade that dog that got bad that can't take the heat like that. Somebody spade and neuter that dog. And don't let nobody else breed that dog. That's all I'm saying. Somebody get rid of that dog. Cause he breeding bad genetics. And you can just get rid of the genetics. Every time you get one of them, let it be gone. Let it be gone. That's all I'm saying. Let it be gone. If they get one of them, let it be gone. Let it be gone, bro. That's all y'all gotta do. Bad genetics, let the dog be gone. Watch what I breed. Watch what I bring to the front. Watch what I bring to the front with these old English bullies. I need to put that in my little caption to let people know that's really what I got, them old English bullies. And now we ain't running all the way no bulldog face. That's against, you gotta write a standard. I'm not breeding a bulldog. These are old English bullies. So the face need to sit differently than a bulldog. It's close, but it need to sit differently. It can't be wrinkled. It can't be all them wrinkles. This is not a English bulldog. A OD ain't supposed to be all wrinkly like a bulldog. It's too much bulldog in it to be wrinkled like that. You gotta know the original. David Levitt was shooting at the original bulldog. The original bulldog didn't have all them folds on his skin. You gotta know how to breed. You gotta know breed type, breed standards. When you breed these breed standards, you know that even if you put this bully and you put this oldie together, the dog ain't supposed to be wrinkled because a bully is not wrinkled all over, and an oldie is not wrinkled all over. That's not the breed type. You gotta know breed type, and you breed towards the breed type, and you write your standards so you can sit in the breed type that these dogs come from. You don't have no blood that I got and it's fully wrinkled. It don't supposed to be wrinkled. It ain't supposed to be that wet. It's a drier dog. It's a drier dog. I'm not gonna breed to a bully that's wrinkled because it's not what it's not in the category of the standards of what you see as a full-blooded bully. A full-blooded bully has tight skin. A full-blooded oldie, you look at the back of it, it got tight skin. It got like a little creases in his face, cause the bulldog right there in the middle of his in his face, but not on his body. You gotta know the breed. You gotta look and see what he was breeding for. He was breeding to get the old dogs. Therapy, emotional support dog, man. I be trying to drop. I'm just telling y'all stuff, man. We'll get on the task, and I say the same thing over and over and over and over in all my videos until we get on different topics. I keep speaking about this environment and this look, taking care of your dog because therapy and most support dog, we take care of our dogs.